It's very, very dark. One night, my dad and I, it was a Friday night, my dad and I used to work 11 to 7 on weekends, midnight shift. So we're driving to the restaurant, going through Amish country. We see this brilliant, blinding flash of light, not very high off the ground, maybe 1,500, 1,200, 1,500 feet. There's a second flash and a third flash, and we were both looking up at it, and then this orange saucer lit up, and it's just hovering there.
What year is this?
This is 1981. He pulls over to the side of the road. I said, what in the world is that? We get out of the car. We're just standing there staring at this thing. A guy pulls up behind us. He gets out of his car, and he says, what is that? And my dad said, I don't know. And then it went whoosh, like that at this fantastic speed that just defied the laws of physics. We get back in the car. We stood there for a minute waiting. Is it going to come back? So we get in the car. We start driving again. And I said to my dad, and mind you, I was a kid. I said, so should we do something? Should we like call the cops or something? And my dad said, and say what? We saw a flying saucer and then it flew away. People are going to think we've lost our minds. And so we only told my mom the next day. We didn't say anything to anybody, but I have never forgotten it. In the meantime, I moved to Washington a year later. My uncle owned a restaurant in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia. His son was an F-15 pilot or whatever it was, F-16 pilot. And I mentioned this to him, like, oh, I saw the craziest thing last year. I saw this flying saucer with my dad. And he said, oh, we see those things all the time. He said, one time I saw one shoot up out of the ocean. And I said, you kidding me? He said, no. We said, we fill out these forms. They're classified. We send them to the Pentagon. He said, every pilot has seen them.
What?
This is crazy.
This is crazy. Every pilot has seen them?
So not every person who seems crazy is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, do I believe that's... And I wonder, 81. 81, how advanced were we with drones in 81?
I know, right? Had we even thought of drones by 81?
I don't know. I don't know. When did drones become public and available to the public? What year did drones become available to the public? So that's it. You're talking 81.
20-something years?
That's right.
Before.
So it's not like, and when you went in, you weren't like, I got to figure this thing out. I'm going to get into the CIA. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to go. Did anything get close where you're like, maybe nothing?
Not even vaguely close. One thing that I did get a kick out of, when I got there, we didn't have computers yet. I'm embarrassed to even tell you. We had IBM Selectric 3 typewriters at our desks. And then we got these big boxes called Delta Datas with a little tiny green screen. And Delta Data.
Go to image.
Oh, there it is, Delta Computer.
Go to images.
They had these little green screens. There they are. There's the Delta Data. So that's the one. That's the one. And so all the files were paper files that went on these. They were on these rollers. They went all the way up into the ceiling and then came back down. The ceilings were a good 15, 20 feet, and then they went up into the ceiling, came down. So every once in a while, as I'm researching somebody, I would run across an old professor of mine from when I was at school at GW.
And
but no,
nothing.
No, nothing on UFOs. Not a word. Not a single word.
It's funny. I just pulled up the story on these 11 scientists. Rob, what did you pull up? Did you pull up anything on the scientists? Because what it's telling me is, 10 or 12 scientists who have either died or gone missing since 2022. Many were high security fields, nuclear research, aerospace, NASA, FBI, Department of Energy, NASA, White House are involved in a coordinated review. The Congress launched a probe calling it potential national security. Really? Threat. Some officials have floated possibilities like foreign intelligence involvement, China, Russia, Iran security breaches, or just unrelated incidents being grouped together. A NASA nuclear engineer, Joshua LeBlanc, was found dead after being reported, adding the list and raising urgency. Important reality check experts saying no confirmed link between the cases. Many deaths have been explained. Accident, suicides, illness. The pattern may partly be internet-driven narrative building.
Sure.
One of the stories is about a William Neal McCasland. McCaslin, right there. So that's one of the stories that prompted everything. If you can just go to the New York Post story right there. Retired Air Force general, worked on classified aerospace programs, disappeared in 2026. So he's one of the stories. And the other one is Amy Eskridge. Amy Eskridge, there you go, right there. Amy Eskridge was a researcher into advanced propulsion, anti-gravity concepts. And that's the picture we've seen all over the internet. We've seen that she said definitely did not plan death by suicide. Friend, go a little bit lower to read that one. Where do we have it? Amy thought she was a target. She thought she was a target. Research friend from Eskridge believed she was being targeted for her work in propulsion technology. Per Melbourne, she claimed she was being physically and psychologically attacked and provided pictures to him of her discolored hands. Amy, too, friend, if you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not. Milburn said Eskridge told him to believe any reports that she had died by suicide, told him not to believe that she died by suicide. She turned up dead. Eskridge died on June 11, 2022 in Huntsville, Alabama. Her death was officially ruled a suicide from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
It's very unusual for women to shoot themselves.
Yeah, it's normally they shoot their husbands, or they shoot, if it is, it's a situation is the other way around. Yeah, there's this thing called the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, so the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951 was created by the U.S. government, by this senator from two sides under Truman. He signed it, and they gathered 6,000 patents that the government's had since, which they would pay you off, and you can never make money and never talk about it.
What?
And it's something about go a little bit lower, Rob. The secrecy orders can bar public disclosure entirely, prohibit sales to anyone outside the defense sector, block exports, and seal restricted applications as classified. So if you go deeper into this is something that, John, you would get a kick out of if you look into this, the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. We were introduced to this by Gear, Stephen Greer, Rob, if I'm saying it correctly. He did a documentary on this. If you've never seen it, it's worth watching. So this is where some people speculate that, some of these inventions could cure cancer. Some of the inventions would disrupt the oil industry because cars could drive based on just water. And so we don't need to do all this other stuff with oil industry. So, and there's some credible stories behind how people disappeared at the time. So I don't know. Is there some credibility to these stories? Maybe. I definitely would like to see journalists, investigators go a little bit deeper to see what happened here with all these people that are saying, I'm not suicidal, and then they disappear. So who knows? But